right, this is screencast number 2 on Robert Browning's Porphyria's Lover. We left off on lines 41 and 42, right after he strangles her with her hair. And so lines 41 and 42 say, and strangled her, no pain felt she, I'm quite sure she felt no pain. He tries to tell himself that her death is painless, but he repeats the phrase there in order to believe it. No pain felt she, I'm quite sure she felt no pain. The truth is that he doesn't even know. Strangulation is not a quick death. And so in that short period of time, or that period of time, who knows what she was feeling. So we kind of feel like, is he having a little bit of remorse here for what he's done? In lines 43 through 45, he says, as a shut bud that holds a bee, I warily oped her lids. Again, laugh the blue eyes without a stain. So we have the whole imagery here of a shut bud, a flower bud, and a bee. And, I'm not really quite sure, there's a lot of discussion on why he would choose this particular imagery to talk about opening the dead eyeballs of his lover here. When we talk about spring and sweetness, we're talking about new growth and pollination, bees and flowers here. But Porphyria's eyes, he's likened them to a flower bud that is closed in around a bee. He's checking to see if she's really dead. He's not sure if she is, or maybe he's frightened of finding out that she is dead here. Those eyes are still happy. They're still laughing. Laugh the blue eyes without a stain, which is outrageous, since an outrageous adjective to use, since he's just murdered her. There's no regret. There's no emotional breakdown. He has coldly executed this woman in a very intimate way. To choke someone with their own hair is pretty. Is face to face. It's very intimate murder. And now he's checking for signs of life by opening up her eyelids. So it's very, very matter of fact. There's no contrition here. He is all very, yep, I did it, so what? 46 through 55, he starts untightening the tresses around her neck. And it says, I untightened next the tress about her neck. Her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. I propped her head up, as before, only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still. The smiling, rosy little head, so glad it has its utmost will, that all it scorned at once is fled, and I its love am gained instead. So he is like a hangman's rope. He's untying the hair away from her neck, and then he kisses her on her cheek. It's interesting that he uses the adjective burning here. Almost as implies that this is some kind of a passionate kiss that he is giving to this dead body. He props her head in a comic twist here. Because before his head was on her bare shoulder, and now it's the other way. It's flip-flopped. It's the other way around. And they're still together. So he strangles her, and it cannot be said enough, with her own hair. And then instead of leaving the crime scene or calling for help or, anything that you would think a normal murderer would do, he sits down right beside his corpse and flops her head over on his shoulder, and they're just hanging out on the sofa. Which is kind of an undercurrent of the fact that, this guy is clearly not stable. There have been crimes of passion before. People get caught in a moment, they find out somebody's cheating on them or something like that. But this is not how you react if you are all together. There. You don't hang out with a dead body that you just murdered. So he is addressing her rosy little head as if it were an object. And he now claims that his love has replaced all that she has scorned. So she wouldn't marry him because she was highborn status and she couldn't stoop to marry him because of their situation. But now, bully on her. They're together forever, just like he wanted them to be. Yay. Okay, Porphyria's love, she guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard. This is what she wanted, and he wanted too, to be with him in love, but I don't think she ever would have thought that this was how it was going to kind of play out. So lines 58 through 60, and thus we sit together now, and all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word. I think this is probably the most telling of all. They're together. They're sitting on the couch, sitting by a warm fire on a dark and stormy night. Time is passing. Porphyria's dead. And no one knows save her. And God is not even passing judgment on him. They've sat here together all night. They haven't moved. And yet God has not said a word. So was he expecting to hear God's voice telling him, like punishing him for this heinous crime that he's committed? Still, there's no guilt. He has zero guilt. He feels absolutely no remorse for what he has done. This is a very interesting one, and again, it just really calls to mind. He's really good with this whole idea of the narrator, the insane narrator, the insane speaker. If you had me for 102, you'll remember we did My Last Duchess, and so the guy's like has murdered his ex-wife because she was smiling and blushing, which signs of guilt to him. But here another one of a nice twisted narrator, insane, strangling people with their own hair. That was Porphyria's lover.